I think that it's a blessing because you're able to spend some extra time, some good quality time with your kids, and you're doing it where you're paying some things forward. You're teaching the life skills and the character development. Hello, welcome to the Martial Arts Lifestyle. My name is James Cox, and we're in episode number 77 today. Let's talk about, should a martial arts instructor teach their own children? You know, should a football coach coach their own children, right? So there are two different hats, obviously. You know, when are you a coach? When are you a dad or mom? You know, the parenting situation. I've been able to. I've had the blessing. I've also seen pros and cons because I've seen lots of other people do the same thing as martial arts instructors to be able to teach your own kids. Now, why would you not want to do that? If you've had the value, you've experienced the benefits, you know, martial arts has in many ways impacted, if not changed your life for the positive, then you want to be able to pass that down. I mean, if dad knows how to work on cars and is a great mechanic, he probably wants to show his kids how to also fix the automobiles and become a mechanic, right? So you have something that you can pass down. You know, I taught my kids how to ride bikes and throw a football and a basketball, and of course a lot about martial arts. Our job as a martial arts instructor is to empower lives, right? Is to be a positive influence and to teach character development. So if we can do that with some extra focused time as them being a student in the class, then I say let's do it. Where we have to be careful is, you know, kind of separating for that moment. And from that 6 to 7 p.m. class, maybe not look so much as that is your child, and also have your child to understand that at that time you're not necessarily dad, you are and you aren't, but that we are treating them equally. It's important that if you're teaching your own kids martial arts in a class and not in a private lesson, or even in a private lesson, that we know which hat to wear and that we're treating them equally with mutual respect, you know, and that there's no favoritism. And at the same time, I think with my kids, I might have made some mistakes looking back because I was so young. I was 20, 21 years old, and my first son started martial arts. Well, I say at birth, but he was, you know, I started a 3-year-old class when he turned 3, and it was kind of sort of for him. And he was competing and going all over and doing martial arts. So we spent a lot of time in the martial arts and me passing down and training with him and all of this stuff. But if anything, I was kind of guilty maybe of being too hard. I see other coaches and martial arts instructors doing that with their own kids. Because why? Well, you want the best. You want the best for them. You want to give them your all. They're your kids, right? And you need to be careful, I feel, about being too hard on them. And maybe you don't want to look like you're having favoritism, or you're taking it easy on them, so then you go to the other extreme when you're too hard on them. Why does someone burn out on martial arts? There's lots of reasons. We've talked about this in previous episodes, but it could be doing too much. You got to find that balance where it's a good part of life, but it's not life, right? You still have other things that you have to do and that you should do to balance all those things out. So we don't want the kid to burn out. If you're too hard on them, then you could possibly run them away. You know, I think that it's a blessing because you're able to spend some extra time, some good quality time with your kids, and you're doing it where you're paying some things forward. You're teaching the life skills and the character development. You know, kids nowadays are so busy, man. You pick kids up from school and you want to talk about their day, and, you know, hey, how was school? And you get a lot, it was the same, it was boring, or it was this or that. And you try to ask the right questions, communicate deeper, and build a good relationship and bond with your children. But we're so busy, you know. Parents are working, kids are busy, maybe they're doing sports, they're on their tablets, they're closed in their room. And when you have them in a martial arts class, well, you have them there. They're there as one of the students, and you guys are together spending a lot more time. Because it does seem like, you know, from the parenting view, your kids want to spend a lot more time with you when they're young, but then as they get a little bit older, their priorities change, and they're wanting to spend a little less time with you, you know. But to be able to spend some quality time improving their martial arts, I mean, don't you want your children to be able to protect themselves? Of course. Bullying, you know, so many bad situations could happen. So to have a little peace of mind that if it came down to it, you feel more confident that your son, your daughter, your child is able to protect themselves, is able to stand their own ground and stand up for themselves, that they have the confidence that they can do that. Now, the benefits of the martial arts, we know those, all right? The confidence, respect, the discipline, the self-defense, the fitness. I mean, look at child obesity and just kids not doing enough physical activity. A lot of people are homeschooled, and maybe they're lacking some of those extra benefits or sports or seasons. So there's some good pros about getting your child into martial arts, and you being able to teach them, I think is priceless, for the most part. You're going to run into obstacles. I mean, you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with human. So you're going to run into some obstacles, some challenges. And then that might bring up the question of, what's the difference in encouraging or forcing, right? I'll say I've always highly encouraged my kids to do martial arts, but I feel it didn't necessarily force them. Now, there's a whole other debate that we could have on, as a parent, especially when your child is younger, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, you have to know, in my opinion, what is best for them. They may want to eat the cupcake, but the carrot is best for them, right? So you should be in more control of their diet than they are. They're kids, you're the parent. Same with things like martial arts. The benefits of it, so you want to highly encourage them to do that, right? There's certain things I don't think we need to leave up to the kid. Hey, little Johnny, you want to do this or not? I mean, if you see enough of those benefits and value that's going to change their life for the better, especially at that early age, then you do it. Goal setting. This is all about goal setting, man. If it's a goal or it's a commitment that you make that they're going to do this for 6 months, they're going to do this for 3 years, they're going to get to this certain belt, they're going to maybe compete at this event, like most parents will say, you start it, let's finish it, right? Now, what is finishing? That might be a discussion you would have. But if we involve our children into the martial arts, we want them to understand some goal setting. We want to understand some no-quit attitude. And we want them to stick with what they started and finish what they committed to or promised, if that makes sense. So, if not, you're just going to teach kids to quit. You're going to teach them to quit at karate, teach at football, quit on their diet, quit on obstacles and challenges in life instead of going through it. It's not going to always be easy. You can go through the bad to get to the good, but I feel the return on the investment is far worth it. The return on the investment in martial arts training, even if you're highly encouraging / forcing your child at times, it's well worth it. Because if you think of a child's life, if at that time their decision is to stop everything they're doing and come to karate class, or to finish level 5 of the video game, or jumping on the trampoline, or watching whatever series they're watching today, then martial arts might lose to that quick decision. What I try to always do with my kids, as well as the students I teach and the parents I talk to on the daily, is let's remind the students, the child, of the benefits. Let's remind them and let's praise them that they are getting faster and they are getting stronger and they are improving in the skills, and that it shows, and that they've set this goal and they're a step closer to obtaining that next rank, or whatever it might be. So the belts are a great built-in success cycle, and when we can go through a program, we're teaching our kids goal setting, and I think that's very important. You got to be careful as the coach not to be too hard, like I said, not to show favoritism, and at the same time to be sure that you still praise. We use the term praise, correct praise. There's too much negativity in the world, man. Through a daily life, how much negativity a child hears. How many times they're told no, how many times they may be put down and even bullied, because everyone's bullied in one way or other, if it's online or it's physical or emotional, mental, whatever it may be. So in the martial arts, we want to spend time praising. We want to correct. We say praise, correct, praise, right? So sandwich that there and fix what they have. So when you're teaching your own kids, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to praise. You always want to correct. That's what we kind of do with them, right? But I think the pros outweigh the cons. You just got to be careful with what you do. I would recommend that if you have other people that can help you teach them, then that's good too. Maybe you have an assistant instructor or another instructor, depending on the school and whoever you're teaching. But there was times where I would pass on my children to other martial arts instructors that I either trained or knew or trusted, because they may connect to them a little bit differently. You could have two teachers saying the same thing, slightly different, and then the student finally gets it. The light bulb comes on and it connects with them. we're just all busy in life. So I definitely think it's a good thing to teach your children martial arts and pass on something that you have valuable to give to them. And you know what? Because I already know, because I've lived it, they are going to thank you later. Yeah. Imagine, man, I didn't really want to go to class those times, or I didn't want to go to that tournament, but I'm so glad that I did, and I appreciate you parenting me. All right, it's our job as parents. But that's what I have to say today for you guys, short and simple, and let's keep doing the right things. Hey, follow our YouTube channel, James Cox Martial Arts, and go through all these other 76 episodes and check them out. Thanks.